Good morning, one and all person here. So it's my honor and privilege to welcome you all for this wonderful workshop on design thinking, critical thinking, and as well as innovation design, organized by the Innovation Club and Department of Biotechnology. So on behalf of Rathinam Group of Institutions, I welcome our today's resource person of Dr. Professor Dr. Chirag Thaker, Professor and Head Department of Computer Engineering and Government Engineering College of Rajkot. Welcome you, sir. I heartily welcome our Secretary and CEO, Dr. R. Manikam, sir. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our beloved Principal, Dr. R. Muralidharan, for encouraging and supporting us to conduct this program. Welcome you, sir. And I would like to welcome our Dean of School of Science, Dr. S.N. Suresh, and Dean of Research, Dr. KPV Sabaris. Welcome you, sir. And I heartily welcome our convener of the program, Dr. C. Kanagaraj, IIC convener and HOD of Department of Biotechnology. Welcome you, sir. And I extend my heartily welcome to IIC ambassadors, coordinators, and head of the departments, faculty members, and students who are very much excited to attend this program. So once again, I welcome you all. Now, I like to invite Dr. Prakash, Innovation Ambassador and Assistant Professor of Chemistry, to introduce our chief guest. Sir, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, thank you. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Okay, thank you. So good morning to one and all present here. So I welcome you all for this workshop on design thinking, critical thinking, innovation design, which is organized by Innovation Club of Rathinam College of Arts and Science, Department of Biotechnology. And it's my immense pleasure to introduce our today's resource person, Professor Dr. Chirag S. Thaker, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Engineering, Government Engineering College, Rajkot. So, Professor Dr. Chirag S. Thaker received his PhD from Suresh Dhyan Bihar University, Jaipur, Rajasthan, India, and he completed his ME and BE at Dhamshane Desai University, Gujarat, India. And his main research area, which is focused on cloud computing, cloud security, green cloud computing, big data analytics, and conversational artificial intelligence. Our resource person, Sir, has published more than 50 national and international journals in various standard journals, and Sir has 24 years of research and teaching experiences in various standard institutions which across India. Currently, there are 5 students which are working under his guidance, and Professor Dr. Chirag S. Thaker, he published about 2 books, and we are very much pleasure for having you as a resource person for this event. So without any further delay, I would like to welcome our resource person, Dr. S. Chirag S. Thakur, to share his knowledge with us. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Let me share my screen first, and then I'll formally start.
Oh, sure, sir.
Sir, I hope my screen is visible and I'm perfectly audible.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible and you are audible, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. I take this opportunity to thank the management and the academicians associated with Rathinam College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Welcome to all. I especially thank Director Sir, Secretary Sir, and Dean Sir for being present in this online session and encouraging each one of us through your presence. I thank Dr. C. Kanagaraj for being so kind enough to give me this session and finding me worthy to be part of your IIC Council. I thank Dr. Prakash for his generous introduction. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I also thank Dr. S. Anirudh, coordinator, who is associated with Department of Biotechnology. So thank you all, and I hope the students will enjoy this session. So I'm going to deliver on design thinking, critical thinking, and innovation design. And this is going to be a 1 hour session. So friends, let us start. So since March 2020, what we have witnessed is one of the most challenging times for human race. COVID pandemic, COVID-19, and let us salute the Corona warriors, not only the doctors and paramedical staff, but all the people who have actually helped us to survive. The police people, the municipality workers, the cleanliness peoples, the vendors, the vegetable vendors, the delivery people who actually make sure that the grocery items and other stuff actually reaches our home in quite safe. So we call them Corona warriors, and let us salute the Corona warriors, and let us hope that in very short time the pandemic gets over. But till then, let us follow the COVID protocols, and let us make sure that we take the vaccination dose as well as the booster dose. As it is customary also, this is an acknowledgement slide. The presentation acknowledges content, especially images which are taken from Google. There are certain images where the image source is mentioned. Otherwise, the universal image URL is www.images.google.com. The images are used purely for an academic purpose, and the presenter has no intention of copyright infringement. After this acknowledgement and declaration page, let us go to the quotes. I generally start my sessions with quotes. So this is from one of the best brains the world has ever produced, Mr. Albert Einstein. He says, I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. And the second is regarding the computing technology and the buzzwords. But please, friends, make sure they are not buzzwords. They are full-fledged technological domains. Data is the new oil, AI is the new electricity, that is artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things is the new nervous system. These two quotes are related to today's talk. Decision thinking isn't a subject, it is an empathy-centered approach to creativity. This is a quote from John Spencer. And another quote from Mr. Bruce is that when people talk about innovation in this decade, they really mean design. And that's why we are going to discuss about design thinking. This is going to be my flow of presentation. I'll touch upon design thinking, then design thinking basics and benefits, design thinking process, and then I have some thoughts on design innovation, and then we will swiftly switch over to innovation process. We'll have the comparison of the difference between invention and innovation, types of innovation, and then I'll enter critical thinking and problem solving process, and some thoughts on critical and creative thinking. So friends, I'll talking about design thinking first, and then innovation design, and then in the last I'll cover the critical thinking part. So this is a quote about design thinking from Tim Brown. He is a CEO of IDEO. So design thinking is a human-centered approach to innovation. That draws from the designer's toolkit to integrate the needs of people, the possibilities of technology, and the requirements of business. So, technological feasibility, people need, and business possibility. So, there is a difference between design and design thinking. Design is all about individuals, but design thinking has a lot to do with teams. Design is about creating and developing products, rolling out products. Design thinking is all about experiences. Design is a very good cross section of engineering and art, liberal arts, creative arts, and in the engineering paradigms. But design thinking is all about the human aspects, technology, and business. So, design thinking is all about feel, imagine, do, and share. What does it mean? It means design thinking is the needs of people, the possibility of technology, and the requirements for success. So basically, you start here. Desire, people's desire. Through empathy, you can come to know what they desire. And then technological feasibility. I may have daydreams. I may have many ideas in my wildest imaginations. But are they implementable? Whether it is the area of technology or science, we have to always see the feasibility part. So, technology and scientific perspective, is it feasible? And then, because it's a team work, viable for success. There are business aspects, there are commercial aspects, and it always says viability. So we will check the viability for success. And if this three is put together, and if we get something, that is the answer. That is what design thinking is all about. So, friends, we have a very conventional approach. The left hand side is your conventional approach, the presentation left hand side. We always thought that business is a different domain. Technology has its own boundaries, and design thinking is very much part of design. But we were wrong. Design thinking actually encircles design, technology, and business. And this is a radical shift. This is a paradigm shift from our conventional thinking. So this contemporary model where design thinking is encircling design, business, and technology is something which is very fruitful. That means we have to now, we can zero in that technological feasible, market desirable, market desirability, people's aspirations, and business viability. And when we put them together, and what we receive, what we get is design thinking. Raj, sir, am I going well? Is it fine?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That means design thinking is all about thinking paradigm, actions, and mindset. So you need to be quite holistic in nature. You have to also, your thinking need to be divergent and convergent in nature. Your thinking should not be limited only intuitively. You have to also think methodologically. You should be emotional enough and you should be rational enough, and they go hand in hand. It is really difficult to put divergence thinking and convergent thinking together. It is really difficult to put emotional and rationality together, but that is what thinking is all about. In mindset, people who are part of this design thinking process, their mindset need to be experimental, playful in nature. They should have positive attitude, and they should be future oriented, and they should have tolerance of mistakes. They should able to withstand the errors and mistakes. Actions, you have to achieve empathy. You have to put yourselves in their shoes. The people, the customers, the end users, the society for whom you are trying to make a product, or you are trying to make a process, or you are trying to design some kind of application. You need to achieve empathy. You have to put yourselves in their shoes, and then you have to think about. I just give you the example. If you are designing any product, or if you are optimizing any process for construction site workers, you have to put yourselves in their shoes. And once you achieve that empathy, perhaps you can know their problems, you can know their requirements, and you can also understand their aspirations. You can understand their difficulties. In design thinking is all about interdisciplinary collaboration. It is collaborative in nature, and that's why you have to have the habit of visualization of ideas. And after visualizing the idea and checking the feasibility and all this part, you have to always go for early prototyping. What is a prototype? It is the simple understanding says prototype is nothing but a simple working model. Any working model, we call it prototype in a very layman's term. Uh, the action also highlights iteration during the process. So the design thinking process sometimes passes through many iterations, and these iterations actually brings betterment and more comfort with the design thinking products or processes. So let us try to understand the context part and the form part of design thinking. So this is the stages of design thinking: empathize, ideate, prototype, test, and define. So empathize, innovation should be human centered. Now here I have kept innovation, which is the thread to our second part of the session. Empathize, define, innovation should solve a problem. Ideate, innovation is born from a clash of ideas. And prototype, innovation should be brought to life. And then test, innovation should be refined. So basically, what we try to address here is the three cycles. So it's an iterative closed cycle, and it is made up of three major concepts: understand, explore, materialize. Understand, explore, and materialize. Understanding has two dimensions: empathize and define. And what is empathize? Conduct research to develop an understanding of your users, the end users, the society people, the people for whom you want to optimize the existing process or try to create a new process or new product. Define. Combine all your research and observe where your users' problem exists. Just try to understand their problems, their limitations, their shortcomings. Then ideation phase. Ideation phase says generate a range of crazy creative ideas. Try to assemble all possible ideas. Are they crazy ones, non-crazy ones? Just try to assemble, put them together. Encourage your team members to come up with wildest ideas, imaginations in ideation phase. And once ideation is over, you will go with prototype. Build real tactile representation for a range of the ideas. And then you will run into test phase, in which you will return to your users with the actual feedback. Maybe the beta versions of the product, or maybe the initial versions of the process. Go back to your users, try to get their genuine feedback, and then implement. So explore is all about ideation phase and prototype, but test and implement is all about the materialization phase of the design thinking process. So one more time, the same story. Uh, in the understand phase, empathize and define. To conduct research to develop an understanding of your users. Ideate, generate a range of crazy creative ideas, and prototype and implement and test. So this is your design thinking process, and these are 6 stages or 6 steps to complete or accomplish your design thinking process. Friends, I am going to discuss 2 design thinking processes. Another model, this is one model which has 6 stages. Another model will have double diamond philosophy of design thinking process in coming slides. So let us try to understand the every single stage of this design thinking process. So empathize. So learn about the audience. So basically, what we try to understand is what is the problem. So your focus or your focal point is define the challenge and explore the human context. That is the main objective of empathize phase. So what you try to do is you just try to develop a deep understanding of the challenge or the difficulty or the situation or the problem. Deep understanding of the challenge. And how you are going to achieve that? Through interviews, through shadowing effect. You just need to understand. And in this phase, you better be very cautious that you should not be judgmental. You should be non-judgmental. That means in empathize stage, learn about the audience for whom you are designing by observation and interview. And for that, you're to ask 2 major questions to yourselves, or your team members have to be very precise about these 2 questions. Who is my user, or who is going to be my end user, and what matters to this person? That's all. So this is all about the empathize stage or phase. The second is define. So in define, what you are going to do? What is why is it important? The defined stage is why is it important? Because it inculcates research, observation, understanding, and then create a point of view. So basically, what is your single goal or objective? Clearly articulate the problem you want to solve. That is your design output. Create a point of view that is based on user needs and insights. So the single most question the team members are going to work on this stage is what are their needs, and how you can find out? You can sharpen their needs by key questions, very key basic questions. So basically in this phase you are going to do a lot of activities, like you have to understand the personas, you have to be very clear about the role objectives, the decisions, the challenges, and the pressing points or the pain points. Once you understand these challenges and pain points, perhaps you can very easily figure out the defined stage decisions and role objectives. So this is all about the second stage, define. Now we enter third stage, ideate. So ideate is all about brainstorm and create solutions. So what you are going to do is, what is the single most objective of this ideate phase? Brainstorm potential solutions and select and develop your solution. So why ideate is important? Because you are going to brainstorm ideas, good as well as bad ideas. And don't stop at the obvious. Just go with all crazy possible ideas. So brainstorm and come up with as many creative solutions as possible. Wild ideas should be encouraged during this phase. So in this phase, what are the activities you are going to take? You will prioritize, you will share ideas. All ideas are worthy enough. You will have both the thinking, divergent thinking and convergent thinking. What is divergent thinking? You are you have a common goal, common idea, main thinking process, and then you explore all possible directions from that. It's called divergent thinking. And sometimes you are trying to explore all possible stuff, and then you just try to sum it up. You just try to arrive at a commonality or common denominator. That is a convergent thinking. So you are in this phase, you are going to encourage both divergent thinking as well as convergent thinking. Yes, and thinking. So you will accept stuff and you will also encourage thinking. And when you go with many creative ideas or creative solutions as possible, you are also going to prioritize it. Once this phase is done, you enter the prototype phase. So what is the single most common objective of prototype stage or phase? Design a prototype or series of prototypes. There are certain problems where series of prototypes are also required to test all or part of the solution. So now you are trying to focus on the working model. Now you are trying to put the ideas into materialistic world. You just try to put them in the actual scenarios. So either you create a prototype or series of prototypes just to address or just to solve the existing problem or set of problems. So for that, what you do? You build representations of one or more ideas. So how do you create prototype? You start creating, experimenting, and fastly developing the prototype. So what you are going to do in prototype? Build a representation of one or more of your ideas to show it to others. How can I show my idea? Remember, a prototype is just a rough draft. So don't hesitate. So tell your team members and anybody who is part of this design thinking process or design thinking team, don't hesitate. A prototype is just a rough draft. So you can obviously implement all the feasible ideas. And then you enter the test part. So why test? Implement the product or show it and don't tell, and start to refine the product. So you test ideas and gain user feedback. So you can develop you already developed the prototype. Now it is a testing part. You go to your end users or a subset of your end users or user community, get their genuine feedback and try to refine what is being developed, either product or process. So engage in a continuous short cycle innovative process to continually improve your design. So that is the objective of test. So share your prototype idea with your original user for feedback. What has worked, what has not worked, you can create this feedback. So in this phase, what are going to be the activities? Understand impediments, what works, what does not work, role play, and in this one major objective is iterate very quickly. That means from empathize to test, if you ask very basic question, who, what, how, and why. So who you are solving for, what their needs are, how you will solve them, and why your work actually matters. So this is going to be your prime objective. Now this is all about the stages and the activities. Like if it is an empathize phase, what is the definition? Get to know the user and their need, understand their perspective. And what are the strategy examples? Empathy maps, observations, and interview. If you are in the defined stage, create a problem statement that frames the user and their need. So what are going to be the strategies? Tell a story, confirm with user. If you are in the ideate phase, what are the strategy examples? Brainstorming, journey map, forced analogy. And it is all about explore ideas and options to address the problem and begin to narrow it. If you are in the prototype stage, which is very much the convergent thinking part, you have to focus on experiment by making ideas tangible, or you have to act out processes. And in this prototype stage, what are going to be your example strategies? Paper prototyping, storyboard, or role play. Storyboard is in, if you visit ICT industries, specifically IT industries, there are many companies, including Google and Facebook, which have kept many whiteboards for different teams, and these teams actually use these whiteboards for story as storyboards. There are role plays also. There are companies like Amazon or the FMCG companies, when they develop product or when they refine their existing product, keeping their competitors in mind, they actually go with role play strategies also. And when you are in the test stage, what is the definition? Evaluate the proposed solution with the user. That is the definition of test stage. If see whether it is working, and if it does not work, then you can also iterate. Even if it is working for certain additional features, you can also go with iteration. And what are the example strategies in test stage? You can plan a roadmap, you can create a pitch. So you have to pitch their product. That is a very well-known startup term, pitching an idea. You have to also get the feedback. So now we are very fine with one design this. Now we enter the design thinking process. So design thinking, it's a non-linear process. So we have discussed empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Now please friends, do remember it's a non-linear process and it's a closed loop. And from any stage, you can go back to the previous stage. Like from define, you can go back to empathize. Empathize to define the problem. From prototype, you can go back to ideate. How do you go back? Learn from prototype to spark new ideas. Because sometimes certain prototypes gives you creative solutions, creative ideas. So go back to your ideate stage and just try to come up with better ideation part. Or if you are in the test phase, after testing, your test reveals insight, and these insights can redefine the problem. So there are certain test insights which has the potential to define the problem. So from test, you can go back to define. From taste, you can also go back to ideate part, because taste creates new ideas for the project or for the product on which you are working. Or sometimes from taste, you can straightway go to your empathize part, that is learn about user through testing. So you can also understand your users through testing. Some products are already available through testing. You can understand the users, their need, and you can go back to their empathize part. So the only point I want to highlight through this slide is design thinking is a non-linear process. So this is design thinking and this is 5 phases. Now this slide is to talk about the activities and deliverables. So if it is empathize stage, what are the activities you are going to carry out as design thinking team? User interviews, informal chats, sometimes informal chit chats at coffee shops or at construction sites or their canteens can give you very great inputs, observations, shadowing, mystery shopping. You can also make mystery shopping. Picture taking. You can take pictures and just analyze the pictures of how the users are doing their processes or how they are using the products. What are the deliverables in this empathize stage? Personas, empathy map, problem identifications, and user feedback. If we are in the defined stage, what are going to be your activities? You can organize workshops, you can have stakeholder meetings, or you can also develop focus groups. And what are going to be your deliverables? Design brief, or stakeholder map, context map, customer journey map, or opportunity map. So, not many maps are going to be part of the deliverables of the design stage, like stakeholder map, context map, customer journey map, opportunity map. If you are in the ideate stage, what are going to be your activities? Ideation activities, brainstorming, workshops, mind maps, and sketching and drawing. And what are going to be your deliverables in ideate stage or ideation stage? Sketches, affinity map, prioritization map, ideas, concepts, and very important, idea evaluation. So it's not only about sketches and maps, it is also about evaluating the idea. Stage, what are going to be your activities? Space prototyping, paper construction, physical prototyping or digital prototyping. There are some software tools also through which you can make digital prototyping. Storyboards, role plays. These are going to be the activities you will undergo when you are in the prototype stage. As a team, what are going to be your deliverables? Wireframes, storyboards, and physical or digital prototypes. And when you are in the test, what are going to be your deliverables? List of user feedback, observation, evaluation map, and proposed refinement. Now, this is very important. Test will give you evaluation map. Simultaneously, it will also give you observation and proposed refinement. And what are the activities? User testing, observation, evaluation, and discussion, and picture taking. These are the activities in the test phase. This is the second proposed process with design thinking, and it is called double diamond model. And it is 4 Ds: discover, define, develop, and deliver. What is discover phase says? Develop insight into the problem. So discover gives you insight into the problem. Define gives you the area to focus on. Develop gives you potential solutions. And deliver, that is solution delivers that works. So there are events, triggering event. So there is one triggering event. So in that you will articulate the problem or design challenge. So this is a triggering from where the analysis will start. An analysis would be a divergent thinking process, followed by synthesis, which is going to be a convergent thinking process. And synthesis, convergent thinking is all about define the area to focus on. And where it will be amalgamated at one point, it is called design brief. So after your first diamond is over, you are in the point called design brief. So your design brief is ready. What is that? Define the point of view, a clear opportunity to generate idea. That is the stage of design brief. So you will start with the triggering event, followed by analysis and synthesis. And during this analysis and synthesis first diamond process, you will carry out three major activities: ask, try, and know. And it is iterative in nature. So you will ask, you will try, and you will know. You will ask, you will try, and you will know. So this is going to be repetitive in nature. And after synthesis, design brief. After design brief, the second diamond starts. It's called analysis, which is again a divergent thinking, and synthesis, which is again a convergent thinking. But in this second diamond, you will focus on three major activities: learn, prototype, measure. And it is repetitive in nature. So, maybe many iterations of learn, prototype, measure, learn, prototype, measure. And this analysis and synthesis basically gives you develop and deliver part respectively. Develop potential solutions and deliver solutions that actually work. So at the end of the second diamond, you will arrive at a point which is called proven concept. So trial and error with users to define the solutions. That is the main idea. So let us again try to understand the double diamond design framework. So it is all about, it's a closed loop, and it is all about discover, define, develop, and deliver. So there is an opportunity space. You identify and understand the need of your end users, maybe through co-creation also, and you go to iterative design part. You ideate and develop concepts and based on identified opportunities. Then you go to the solution part through develop and deliver. Once your solution is ready, iteratively prototype and test the concepts with potential users. And you go to test, gather feedback, analyze the map, interpret the need map, and again go back into diagram. So it's an iterative loop of iterative design, solution, test, opportunity space, iterative design, solution. So this is how the double diamond design work. So friend, this slide is just to keep you 2 points. One, when opportunity is identified, you are all about idea, insight, legislation, and market change. But when opportunity gets realized, you are very much there with conversion, revenue conversion. Key performance indicators need to be up because with every product, with every processes, there has to be improvement. There has to be more features embedded with the devices or the products or the processes. And your process need to be optimized in terms of resource utilization. In terms of revenue generation, it should give you better revenue, customer satisfaction, and brand building also. So if I sum up these two diamond design framework, the first diamond is all about design the right thing. Here your single most focus is let us design the right thing. So understand why and define how. So this is all about whys and hows to design the right thing. But the second diamond is design. You have got the thing, design the thing right. Here you are not going to cut the corners. You are not going to compromise your idea solution. You are not going to compromise what you have thought about because it has happened with many products. It has happened with many processes. It has happened with many solutions that in this you have the perfect idea, but when you actually implement it, you compromise in terms of quality. You compromise in terms of rolling out the features. You compromise in terms of giving the finest benefits to the end users. So the single most objective of the second diamond is design the thing right. So create the desired outcome iteratively. So you will aim for that desired outcome, and till you achieve that outcome, till you achieve that performance, till you achieve the satisfaction of those parameters, you are going to repeat the loop. You are going to do it iteratively. So the first is design the right thing, design the thing right. So it's all about design thinking, learn and agile, explore the problem, build the right thing, build the thing right. So user need an insight. So develop insights, it's a user part, define a point Q, its need, and create a problem statement, its insight. So this is a design thinking process, and again it's a closed loop design thinking process which passes through discovery, ideation, experimentation, and evaluation. So business thinking is all about problems and solutions. So you have series of problems, You just try to get the solution. Design thinking is all about understanding part, then maybe a categories of problem, and then solutions. So there is a difference between design thinking approach and lean startup approach. There are many people who talk about startups, lean startup. So design thinking is all about addressing broad questions. Lean startup addresses targeted questions. Design thinking needs driven. Lean startup hypothesis driven. Design thinking pre-market or limited market. Lean startup approach in market. Design thinking is multi-dimensional problem. Lean startup, that's why it's a lean startup. You're already there in the market. And there are competitors. Narrowly defined problem. Design thinking is all about exploration. Lean startup approach is refinement. Undefined opportunities for design thinking approach and defined solutions for lean startup approach. So the loop for design thinking is empathize, prototype, test. Lean startup, build, measure, and learn. And this is going to be your need analysis, achievement, and dreams. So design thinking, lean user experience, and minimal viable product development. That is lean minimum viable product development. So now we enter the second area, that is innovation part, innovation design. So you are very well aware that business viability and people desirability gives you emotional innovation. But business viability and technological feasibility gives you process innovation. But people's desirability and technological feasibility gives you functional innovation. And when you put this emotional process and functional innovation together, when you put them together, you get experience innovation. That is where the design thinking is actually targeted. So, your needs of people, capabilities of technology, and business success requirements can give you innovative solutions. So, how you are going to drive it? So, desirability, will people like it? Feasibility, can we make it? And viability, can it be viable? And it gives you the merging point. The commonality gives you useful innovation. So, and one thing is added, desirability, viability, and feasibility. With that, one point is added, it is called integrity, impact, and it is called innovation sweet spot. So, ultimately, you have to arrive at the innovation sweet spot. So, this is going to be your design thinking innovation process. Inspire, ideate, and implement. 3 I's. And what is going to be the term? Define the challenge, observe the people. It is concrete part. Then form insights and frame opportunities and brainstorm the ideas. It is abstract part. And it is the ideation phase. And then implement, try, experiment. So this is going to be your design thinking innovation process. So this is nothing but the elaboration of design innovation process. It has technology, business, and human values. In human values, psychology, anthropology, sociology, need finding. The cross section of technology and human values is design and interactivity. It is HCI, one very prominent research area, human computer interaction, visual thinking, aesthetic and form, and design for sustainability. Technology alone is all about engineering analysis, statistics and dynamics, bioengineering, materials, thermodynamics, chemical engineering, programming methodology, electronics and mechatronics. If you say business domain only, it is all about accounting, finance, marketing, operations, IT, entrepreneurship, competition and strategy. But when technology and business cross section is manufacturing technology, process, supply chain management, and one very important, rapid prototyping. So this is going to be your stage wise. So your problem, solution, and market, which is defining your x-axis. On the y-axis, no business model, unvalidated business model, and validated business model, which has these stages like design thinking, then overlap lean startup, overlap design sprint, and scrum, that is agile. So basically what we try to highlight is design thinking is all about define, ideate, prototype, test, and empathize. But this design sprint is all about decide, sketch, prototype, test, and map. And your final outcome is all about plan, sprint, review, and sketch. So this is an iterative, and that's why this, so that the previous slide becomes very clear. It is all about inspiration, ideation, and implementation. Again, 3 I. Inspiration comes from observation. It is all about telling stories. And all stages are closed. You go to ideation phase. Ideation is all about brainstorming and prototypes. And prototypes falls with execution in the implementation part. And when you implement, communication and again observation. So this is a loop system. So desirability, feasibility, and viability gives you 4 proofs: proof of value, proof of concept, proof of market, and proof of impact. Now, proof of concept, people who are associated with startup ecosystem, they are quite aware with proof of concept. But proof of market has all to do with solution fit and growth fit. And when viability is there and growth or scaling is there, it is proof of impact. So, technology layer needs to function flawlessly. Design layer needs to solve human problems, and business layer needs to generate revenue, because you need a very strong revenue model to support any product or process in a long run. Now, we'll try to understand the difference between invention and innovation. Let us try with creativity. So, the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality is all about creativity. What is invention? Creation of a new idea or concept. And what is innovation? Turning a new concept into commercial success or widespread use. It is innovation. So, this is innovative inventions. Innovation is all about adapting innovations and unrealized inventions. And the cross section is innovative inventions. So, let's try to understand the difference between invention versus innovation. Invention is a novel product or a device or a concept or a concept. Innovation is the introduction of a newer and better solution that meet new requirements or existing market. Invention requires knowledge, competence, and financial aid. Innovation requires technical knowledge, competence, knowledge about market needs, trends, and financial support. What are the examples of invention? Invention of the printing press, Gutenberg, electricity, Thomas Alva Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, telephone. These are invention examples. What are innovation examples? The products were there, the telephones were already there, but introduction of iPhone, tablet, flat screen, TV. Televisions were there, flat screen TV is innovation. So let us compare invention and innovation based on the comparison points. Meaning, idea for a product or process that has never been made before is invention. What is innovation? Implementation of idea for product or process refinement for the very first time is innovation. What is it? Creation of a new product is invention. Adding value to something already exists, that is innovation. Concept wise, invention is an original idea and it's working in theory. Innovation in concept is practical implementation of a new idea. Skills required for invention, scientific skills. For innovation, marketing, technical and strategic skills. When invention occurs, new idea strikes a scientist. It's like Eureka moment. The Archimedes example, the Newton's apple example is all about invention. Innovation, need for improvement in new or existing product. Invention is concerned with single product or process. Innovation is all about combining of various products and processes. Invention activities are limited to R&D, spread across the organization is innovation. So what are the types of innovation examples? If I say technology innovation examples, electricity, development of semiconductors and the proliferation of internet. Product innovation, cars, planes, iPad. Process innovation, assembly line, the Cincinnati slaughterhouse or the Ford car company, assembly line. Kaizen, the Japanese terminology which was terminology on the process which has been adopted by many manufacturing industries. Lean startup is the latest innovation process. Financial innovation, mortgage, the first idea of mortgages, derivatives and venture capitalism. The latest financial innovation is venture capital, venture capitalist. Cultural innovation, civil rights movement, entrepreneurship, K-pop, king of pop. Legal innovation, corporations, class actions, lawsuits, and now startup visa is the latest legal innovation. And if I say innovation ecosystem, Rome was not built in a day. London, New York, centered. And now the latest example of innovation ecosystem is Silicon Valley. So these are the innovation examples. So there are total 10 types of innovations. Three major categories: configuration, there are 4 types: profit model, network, structure, and process; experience, service, channel, brand, and customer engagement; and offering, product performance, and product system. So let us try to understand these 10 types. Process is all about signature or superior methods for doing work. Brand is experience innovation. It is representation of your offering and business. Like Apple is a brand. There are human brands. Service, support and enhancements that surround your offerings. Customer engagement, distinctive interactions you foster with your customers. The success stories of YouTubers is customer engagement. Product like Facebook, customer engagement. Product performance, distinguishing, we have already discussed. Process, network, connections with others who create value. So these 3 main types of innovations: configuration, offering, and experience. There are 3 categories. Configuration, profit model, network, structure, and process. It is all about bolder concepts. Product performance and product system, it is easier to implement, and it is focusing on platform-centric innovation. Experience-centric innovation is service, channel, brand, and customer engagement. I give you the example. Service, Ola or Uber; channel, Amazon or this brand, Apple is brand; customer engagement, Facebook, WhatsApp. It is harder to copy. It is experience centric innovation. It is very harder to copy. So this is incubation. So it's an authentic learning. Incubate to innovate. So it is all about research, synthesize, imagine, plan, create, collaborate, and so human-computer interaction, industrial design, and user experience design, we already discussed. So basically, the user experience design gives you information architecture, communication design, user interface engineering. The HCI gives you usability engineering and human factors. But when you put them together, you come up with interaction design. So there are 4 types of innovation: breakthrough innovation, sustaining innovation, disruptive innovation, and basic research. Research divisions, academic partnerships is all about basic research, and breakthrough is all about very okay. So invention, innovation, improvement, and impact. These 4 I. Just try to understand. Number 1, opportunities and challenges. That's from where you start. Then generating ideas. Then developing and testing. Then making the case. That is the 3rd quadrant. And then 4th is all about impact part. Delivering and implementing, growing and scaling. Scaling is something which is great. Keeping the business revenue or number of users in mind, and then changing the food system. Like buying a car to renting a Ola is changing the system. So design actually gives you experience plus appearance. So experience is all about emotion plus solution. Appearance is all about color plus layout. So let us discuss case study. Sir, can I take 10 minutes? More?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Fine, because,
Con-
yeah. So, product thinking. So, it is user first approach, job to be done, and output. Output is all about goals and features. Job to be done is all about vision and strategy to implement the product. And user first is problems and target audience. So there is a new market, there is young market, and there is mature market. You have low customer experience and high customer experience. So you start with lead user innovation, then go to incremental innovation and breakthrough innovation. But mature market and low customer experience also gives you disruptive innovation. It's like introduction of iPhone, no keypad. These are 9 principles of innovations at Google. Google believes ideas are everywhere. You should be customer focused. Rely on data, and you launch. So we enter the last phase of our talk, critical thinking. So it is all about problem thinking and solution. So there are two types of people, or there are two types of this thinking philosophy. One is creative thinking, another one is critical thinking. What is creative thinking? It is all about creative ideas, people who are associated with liberal arts, people who are creators, or people who are uh, writers, sculptors, painters, people who are musicians, cinematographers, people who write novels, who make films. They're all about creative people. Critical people are engineering people. We are people who can solve the problem. So critical thinking is all about problem solving approach. So if I sum up, problem solving approach. So creative thinking is all about imagine, invent, change, design, and create. But critical thinking is break down the larger problem into smaller problem. Comparison, list the challenges, sequence them, rank them. So this is critical thinking ability. And the merging of these two actually gives you problem solving approach. You improve the solution, you design the solution, you define the solution, you combine many solutions, create one, you invent one. So critical thinking is all about evidence, position, and conclusions. Creative thinking is all about acquiring competencies, taking risk. Problem solving is all about define problem and implement the solutions. So this is a critical thinking process. Analyze, then interpret, then evaluate. And there is a list. Then make decision. Choose the better one. Choose the best decision. And then problem solving approach. So this is a critical thinking process which is visible on your screen. So critical thinking skills is the ability to think for yourself. Critical thinkers ask questions to learn information, compare facts, and create their own conclusions. So critical thinking is all about problem solving, reasoning ability, and evaluation ability or evaluating ability. So if you are a critical thinker, you will go for higher order thinking skills, evaluations, create better, analyze, question the existing practices. You will also have the ability to synthesize. It is about connecting the dots. It is about combining the facts, appropriate solutions through higher order thinking skills. So, critical thinking is the thinking we do when we judge ideas. Creative thinking is the thinking we do when we generate ideas. So, pose questions, consider perspective, predict effects, consider alternatives, look for proof, draw conclusions is all about critical thinking. So, these are various thinking styles. One is holistic thinking. People who are at the helm of the affairs, they have holistic thinking. Lateral thinking, it is all about think out of the box. Intuitive thinking, the eureka moments. Convergent thinking, I already discussed what is the divergent thinking and what is the convergent thinking. Analytical approach, solving puzzles and all this. Critical approach. So, critical thinking skills, observation, analysis, inference, communication, and problem solving. So, what is the difference between intelligence and creativity? Creativity is ability to perceive things in a novel manner, create new ideas and concepts, and to make innovation creation. Intelligence is all about ability to acquire knowledge and utilize it accordingly. So, problem solving approach need to have background, then condition, then analysis, and then you have to go with plan. So you start with a problem, set a goal, brainstorm the solutions, choose a particular solutions, then make an action plan and enjoy the activities. So problem solving process is define the problem, analyze the problem, then establish the criteria, that is your success criteria, consider possible solutions, and then you will work on solution, decide on solution, implement the solution, and then follow up on the solution. So these are problems of problem solving. What are the problems of problem solving? Problems are attributed to people and blamed. That is also problem of problem solving. Recognized but not being dealt with appropriately. It is also the problem of problem solving. Not changing with circumstances. It is also one problem of problem solving. Problems are not being recognized early. That is also the issue. So this is group problem solving process. Define, analyze, generate possible solutions, evaluate, and all this. So problem solving has many dimensions: planning, measurement, analysis, implementation, monitoring, and assessment. So when you are doing assessment, short-term assessment, long-term assessment. Short-term through regular reports and process meetings. Long-term through process control. When you are monitoring, measure the results, compare the results against targets. When you are implementing, pilot solution, implement the solution and document the solution. But implementation has one major step, that is plan solution, targets, budget, schedule, steps, resources, training and measurement. When you are doing the analysis part of problem solving, analysis has major five sub domains. Possible causes, gap analysis, identify root cause or causes, possible solutions and select the solutions. And when you are doing the measurement part, qualitative measurement and quantitative measurement. So this is the problem solving process, source of problems, selection criteria, roles and responsibilities, training systems, set of problem solving tools and monitoring system. And friends, I have come to the end of my this is all about fourth industrial revolution. Actually, we started in the 1800 eras, late part of 17th century. The first industrial revolution, which was propelled by steam engine invention. The second industrial revolution was marked by electricity, invention of electricity and electricity based manufacturing industries. The third industrial revolution is all about, it is 1900s, it is all about computing, and fourth industrial revolution is all about, that is today's era and the future, it is all about intelligence. So computers are like bicycles for our minds. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patient listening. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You have given an excellent presentation. Superb PPT, sir. You are giving the wonderful session for us. I think this is the right time we are organizing this kind of workshop, because a Smart India Hackathon in lineup, then National Innovation Contest also lineup. So some of the links going to the students. Students, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and ask. Sir, I will ask one question. How to fill the gap between idea to prototype? Some of them have a good idea sense, but they can't able to express their ideas.
Okay.
So,
Sir, if you go stage wise, you have very good creative idea or creative part, but then you have to define it. So before
yes.
coming to prototype, you have to pass through that defined stage. And I already mentioned the group activities. So there's a set of activities we have to do during. So you have to assemble a very good team. You have to make sure that the team sits together and they take one idea at a time, and they rigorously does the defined stage, and in the defined stage they think about the potential solutions, and then they evaluate the potential solutions, and then pick one potential one idea and try to define it in a manner and then create the prototype, because you cannot create n number of prototypes, so you have to give weightages to the various ideas, and you have to map your ideas with the potential solutions or with the empathy map.
So in this group activity, so what kind of the peoples are accumulate?
Sir, it varies from problem domain to problem domain. If you are addressing, as I said, the example, the manufacturing industry, then you need to have your stakeholders need to have good representations from the people who are working on the shop floor. But if you are trying to develop some science related products or processes, then your stakeholders are maybe researchers, the scientists and the industry. Suppose pharmaceutical industry, if you are into drug manufacturing or biotechnology, so in biotechnology you have to put experts together, because their inputs are very much important in terms of technological feasibility. But sir, if you are working in ICT industry, softwares or products or processes, in that case you have to work with designers, the product designers or the software designers.
Okay. So this design thinking process, how it support to the IT sectors. So nowadays, this process more preferable for the IT peoples.
Sir, actually, I tell you one point. It's a valid point. Actually, we have there are like creative thinking and critical thinking. There are two domains in which research and development is very much required. One is bits, and another one is atom. See, we are doing enough with bits, be it EC engineering, be it IT technology. We are doing a lot many efforts. We are trying to develop portals, web applications, services, all this. There is very less R&D expenditure on atoms, where biotechnology comes, where pharmaceutical comes, where actually this nanoparticles and nano engineering comes. So enough money and efforts are spent on bits level, that is bit byte computer part. Less efforts are still, and specifically in India, on atom part, because atoms are very much important, be it biotechnology, nano engineering, nanoscience, or drug manufacturing, or food grain atoms and all this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Students, if you have any questions? Arvind sir, over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now I like to invite Ms. Archana, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Arvind sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You
ma'am,
are
audible.
audible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to propose a vote of thanks today. On behalf of Rathinam College of Arts and Science, I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed delegates and participants for their presence and contribution to make today's session a great, successful one. I extend my gratitude to our honorable resource person, Professor Dr. Chirag Thaker, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Engineering, Government Engineering College, Rajkot, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you so much, sir, for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. Thank you so much, sir. A
You are most
special
welcome, ma'am.
thank you, sir. A special thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. R. Muralidharan, for providing immense support to make today's session a great successful one. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank our Secretary and CEO, Dr. R. Manikam, for his encouragement and support. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to thank our Dean of School of Science, Dr. S.N. Suresh, Dean of Research, Dr. K.P.V. Shabarish, for their support. Thank you, sir. I heartily thank our convener, Dr. C. Kanagaraj, sir, IIC convener, Head of the Department of Biotechnology, for guiding us. Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to thank the coordinator, Dr. S. Aravind, Biotechnology, for organizing this wonderful event. Thank you so much, sir, and team. I would like to thank IIC ambassadors, IIC coordinators, and all the faculty members for their support. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for their active participation. Thank you, everyone, once again for making it a great, successful one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving a wonderful sessions.
Thank you, sir.
So very
Thank you very much.
happy to see you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you
Thank
one
you.
more time. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you,
day
sir.
to each one of you. Thank you.